Good evening. My name is Tim Culp, and I'm the President and CEO of the Texas City La Marque Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of our chamber, we want to welcome you to this evening's candidate forum for the College of the Mainland Board of Trustees. I'm now going to turn it over to TJ Alt, who will, with I-45 now, who will be conducting our forum for the evening.
One, two. There we go. All right, Tim, thank you so much, and welcome everyone here to the Texas City La Marque Chamber of Commerce's offices here. We appreciate the support we get from the Texas City La Marque Chamber of Commerce, as well as the support we like to partner with them on so many things. And one of those is making sure that the voters get to hear from the candidates running for office, and that they get that people not only hear their answers, but also hear the questions they're asked too in a live format. We actually have a pretty lively, well, I say lively, they've been quiet actually most of the time. Normally they're pretty lively, but just so you can hear it in the background, everyone, this is the one time you can cheer, boo, whatever you want to do, because we ask that you don't do that during the forum. So on the count of three, let's let everyone know you're here. 1, 2, 3. That's it. And we have a good crowd. That means great interest here in our community college, and we're glad to have all of y'all here. So here we go, and we welcome our candidates here. We did do a drawing, a random number selection, I should say. Sorry, my mic's dropping out a little bit. A random number selection to decide the order of things. We'll explain that to you here in a little bit. But first, let me go ahead and introduce our candidates that are here with us tonight. I'm going to start on our left, because on your left side of your camera are the candidates for position 7 trustee at College of the Mainland. And that includes the incumbent, Don Gartman, one of his challengers, Elias Ramirez, and his other challenger, former Texas City Commissioner Keith Henry. In position 5, challenger Robert Tyra, and the incumbent, Melissa Skipworth. And for those that may not be familiar with this, that how it works is this is a 6-year term that each of these people are running for. For 2 of them, they're running for a second 6-year term. So if they were to win, they'll serve out 12 years on that. Obviously, if someone else wins, they get their first term at 6 years. As I said, we did a random number selection earlier. Mainly this decides who goes first, second, third, fourth, and fifth at the end of the night, but it also is going to decide who gets to go first, second, third, fourth, or fifth at the beginning here, and that went to Don Gartman, the incumbent here in position 7. And we're going to start with the big bailiwick one right off the bat. There's a bond proposal out there by College of the Mainland that I should note before asking the question, you're the head of the PAC, of the SPAC that is pushing for that. So I'm pretty sure your answer to this is going to be a yes, but want to give an explanation. What is your stance on the COM bond proposal and why?
T, you're right. I'm totally supportive of the bond proposal. Our buildings are outdated. They're 40 to 50 years old. They must be replaced. We're busting at the seams. We have reached our student capacity, and it's incredible that we continue to move forward. We must be prepared to meet the growing needs of our students, the workforce, and all the residents that we service in this area. I would like to mention that it's my understanding that 68% of the college graduates stay in their home base when they are home workforce when they graduate, and that's important for us.
Same question now to position 5 candidate Robin Tyra. The same question here. What is your stance on the COM bond proposal?
Oh, I'm for the proposal.
Can you pick up a mic, please? Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you. I'm for the proposal also. I have seen the demographics, the projected demographics of this area, and I think in order to accommodate everybody that wants to go to COM, they're going to have to build new buildings and renovate the old, and that way that people will be able to come and enjoy the community college in the young and the old. So definitely for.
All right, and the same question now to Elias. Use that mic that's right next to you there, Elias.
Yes, I fully support the bond. As a student myself, I talk to students daily, staff and community, and as piggybacking on Trustee Gartman said, the college is busting at its seams. We're having to turn away students, and as a community college, we shouldn't have to do that. So this calm is needed. People are only moving into Galveston County; they're not moving out. So in the next 5, 10, 15 years for our kids, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, they're going to need institutional facilities to house those programs. Again, with the aviation and aerospace program that they're bringing in, Clear Lake is right down the street, NASA, they're going to be growing as a job market as well. And then our hospitality program as well. Galveston is right down the street. That's one of our biggest tourism industries as well. So yes, I fully support the bond.
All right, and the same question now, Keith Henry.
I support the will of the people. The $250 million bond is needed and is essential for the College of the Mainland. Nonetheless, we have to be empathetic to individuals who they may face that incremental increase. And it's nominal. I think it's $33, maybe it's $33, right at $33 per household of $100,000 market value. Individuals 65 and up, again, are exempt from that potential increase. Nonetheless, we live in a community here on the coast where home values have gone up. So I think for individuals, it'll be prudent for individuals if they have not voted yet to really have that conversation in their homes and then decide what's best. I'll always choose what's best for community and what's best for students. So again, I support the will of the people.
Well, I'm going to have to nail you down here because that's a definite politician answer for that. That's all right, Keith. I know there. But all right, you go in the voting booth. You voting yes or no?
I voted yesterday.
Okay, you voted yesterday. Okay, good. That's what we get to. All right, now to incumbent for position 5, Melissa Skipworth. Melissa.
So I think what people forget is when we passed the 2018 bond, that was 50 years since the college even had a bond. And the campus was already 50 plus years old. And now it's 50 plus 6 years old. So I'm in support. The college does need a bond. The other half of the college is still 50 plus years old. Also, Galveston County is growing. We have new industries that are coming into the county. There are even industries that are untapped right now. We have not even untapped the shipping channel industries. These are high wage earning jobs that we can give to the community, but we're out of that space. So I do support the bond. I will also say I did have some lively debate when it came to the bond because I was concerned about the timing and the amount. As a family that was financially impacted by the pandemic, that is a lot of money. But I listened to the experts. I listened to the Citizens Committee, and the expert says we need to do this bond now because of rising costs. And I looked at the data. I'm also a parent with a school-age child, and I need to have a facility. And with the Promise program and the opportunities that we're giving, we are providing on the campus and looking to provide, this is an investment in our future.
Robin, I'm going to come with you on this question. It's kind of a follow-up to that. In Keith's answer, kind of popped this into my head here. If you're out and about, you're meeting with voters, and they're saying, well, they ask you the same question. There may be a voter you run into that says, well, you're voting yes, I'm not for it. How do you talk to them, not to necessarily change their mind, but how do you justify your stance to them so they still support you in the vote? And I'm going to ask everyone this question as we go down the line.
I justify it by letting them know that our community is growing, and that College of the Mainland is such a good value for higher education. And so I know that my son, he was able to go to junior college and for his higher education needs, and it was a great bottom line differential when applying at a university. So he was able to complete 2 years at a huge discount, then only 2 years at the university. And I think it's important for all the kids to be able to have that opportunity to go to community college, and if you're university bound, and then your costs are cut in half practically. And then the ones that are there for certificates or associates, it's important for them to have the ability to go somewhere close. And if they so choose, they can stay within the community. Like Don said, 68% people stay within. And that gets paid back to us. So I explain it like that. And then I also have had people ask me, well, why didn't they plan it and do it more incrementally? So it wasn't such a heavy hit at such a bad time. And I said, well, I'm not sure about that. I wasn't in on the making of the bond or anything like that. But of course, and they understand that also.
Gotcha. Keith, same question to you, sir.
I think when you look at the metropolitan area that we live in, growth is here and it's here to stay. And also, when you want to make sure that we're competitive with all colleges and universities, and particularly, obviously, two-year institutions throughout the greater Houston area and throughout the nation. And College of the Mainland is poised to do that. Again, if you look at our industry, the petrochemical industry, if you look at I got tongue twisted, but aeronautics, and if you look at tourism industry, this is the Greater Houston area is an economic powerhouse where we sit at, where College of the Mainland, League City, again, also economic powerhouses that our kids are our future, our students are our future, and they're conduits to go into the workforce.
Melissa, same question to you. You're out and about, and you have someone who's saying, "Well, I'm not so sure I support this bond." What do you say to them?
Everyone is in a different situation. I'd say I hear you. I also had some questions around the timing and cost. As a parent, I see this as an investment, though. Having the Promise program, having an affordable college in our backyard is a weight off my shoulders. And as a public servant, having a thriving community, a competitive community where we can see everyone thriving and provide opportunity, it is an investment. However, I know when you go into that ballot box, what you do is between you and God, and you got to make the best decision for you and your family.
Now, Elias will ask you the same questions.
I've been out in the community recently and talking to a lot of voters in regards to this issue. And some ask me, well, you're just a student. What are you necessarily going to do for me? I'm willing to listen out to the individual civilian. I understand what it takes to be financially responsible, especially for my parents. They are considered low income, and our appraisal came in these couple of weeks, and we were shocked. So College of Mainland passed a bond in 2018 for $162 million, and then they did a refinancing note for $1.2 million in 2021. So with this bond, as Commissioner Henry has mentioned, it would cost approximately 66 cents a week for a house appraised for $100,000. Well, in Galveston County, your typical household doesn't cost $100,000. It's almost $200,000 to $300,000, meaning you'll probably be paying close to $400 a year. That's a big burden on low-income households, and I understand that. And moving on in the future, we would have to see the local economy and also the medium income of the household to see if this is actually fillable and we can retain the population here in the calm taxing district.
Yeah, I think they were just a little Freudian slip there. The refinance was 120 million, or around there, not 1.2 million.
The refinance was 12.5.
12.5 million. I knew there was the number was off. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. Just making sure. That's a good thing we have College of Mainland's finance guy over here to my right. I turned to him and said, "Wait, is that number right?" Don, same question to you now, sir. You come up to somebody and says, "I'm not so sure I'm for this." What do you tell them?
I explain the benefits of the College of Mainland. Look at the cost of a 4-year college degree. It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the Promise program here in Galveston County in our service area, you get a 2-year free education, 2 years. And that's E-Tech, which I love to mention. P-Tech is petroleum technology degree, 2-year program. We're graduating students here going to work for $87,000 a year. That could be 120 to 140,000 a year after a few years on the job. How can you beat that? That's with no investment from the parents. Also, the growth of our county is incredible. The Houston Galveston Area Council predicted 56% growth in our area between 2015 and 2045. That's about 2% per year. So that leaves us in the next 22 years a 40% growth in population. What are we going to do for these kids that will be growing up here? So I have no problem at all explaining this to them. I'm totally supportive.
You should point out that on those trends that the experts put in, they're already ahead of pace from what we look by almost by a percentage and a half more than what was predicted there. Elias, I'm going to go with you on this next question here, and it comes up to do because we're talking about tax and budgets here. Go ahead and grab a mic from one of the guys here. But let me ask you, Elias, on this. What is your budget philosophy at College of the Mainland? Obviously, you're not sat on the board yet, but I'm sure you've looked at some of the issues. What is your budget philosophy when you come in? Is it hey, there are certain programs we've got to keep no matter what? Are you willing to look at cuts if the state funding is not there and the like? But what is your budget priority when you come in?
I would, if it comes to our state appropriations being cut, I would look at the quality of the program and see when the specific student graduates, what is their yearly income or potential salary of that specific job, just so whenever these students graduate, they are having a manageable living wage once they graduate. And in regards to, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, no, it is your philosophy on budget because that sets everything up. And there are going to be tough times. If you get elected, you got 6 years.
Yes, sir.
They're not always going to be like this. So there's going to be times it's lean, sometimes it's up. What's your budget philosophy?
Yes, sir. So I recently glanced at the budget for College of the Mainland. It's $38 million, and it's currently in great fiscal responsibility. Our revenues are coming in $38 million, so we're kind of expending that $38 million too, with a $12 million cash reserve.
Have you talked more directly in the mic? There you
sorry.
go. Thank you.
Do I repeat what I?
No. You're fine.
Okay.
We get to hear it. Just make sure you do that. It's encouraging for everybody. I know it's easy to put it down.
I just want to make sure that all the revenue that we're getting from taxpayers' dollars are actually going to the programs that we're saying that they're going to, and that we're spending every single taxpayer dollars responsibly as well.
Keith, same question to you, sir.
I always tell people when I was commissioner here in this district, Texas City, that we have an enviable tax base. And with that enviable tax base, it's a little easier to govern. College of the Mainland has been fiscally prudent for some time now. In terms of when you analyze a budget, you have to look at it holistically, and you have to look at it from a perspective that is incredibly objective. I do know at the state legislature, community colleges are going to receive, from my understanding, are going to receive more appropriations. So that helps the budget. Also, bonds help the budget. The sale of those bonds help the budget. There will be times, again, in a 6-year term, that we may not be as fortunate. And again, you have to really do a deep analysis and really look at which programs should be either seriously considered, but again, obviously, no one wants to make cuts. In terms of looking at budget forecasting, I don't see that in the next 2 or 3 years for the College of the Mainland. And again, with the bond and the sale of the bonds, the growth, student tuition was, if I'm wrong, right about $7 million for the last fiscal year, 2022, 2022. Again, you build the buildings, the people will come, and again, that generates more revenue. So again, my analysis of the College of the Mainland budget is fiscally salient for some time to come.
Don, same question for you, sir, on your budget philosophy.
I'm a businessman. I understand budgets. The bond is for facilities. The budget is for operations. We have staff, including the president and Clint over here, who develops their budget, presents it to the board. We review it, approve it, and we go forward with it. It's real simple to me. I don't get involved in the business part of the business. I'm on the board.
But you are in charge of the budget side of things, so you got to approve it. So let me give you it again. So, you know, when I get those politician answers, always come back on that. So what's your budget vision? Not, you know, that sometimes that budget's going to come and it's not what the, you know, they'll come with the rosiest budget they can based on that. But there's times you still got to make a decision as a board member that maybe not all of his math is just as good as he thinks.
But I mentioned
No insult, Clint. I just wanted to bring it up.
we review the budget, we question them, and then we come up with a final budget. It's real simple. I mean, it's not complex. Not for us. It is for the staff.
Okay. Robin, same question to you. Go ahead and pick up a mic, please, man. It's all right. And it's one of those things when you're not used to doing it all the time. I get you. Don't worry about it.
I think that you can come to a consensus if you're having budgetary cuts or something. You have to analyze the programs that don't fit, you know, right now, and you can always bring them back if things get better. But like they're saying, the growth here is going to be phenomenal, and I don't anticipate having to cut anything, but you never know. But it takes, you know, everybody coming together and looking at it and seeing what makes sense to keep and what makes sense to not keep.
Gotcha. Melissa, same question to you.
So I think as a whole, the board has been very judicious with the tax rate. We have many times have voted no net revenue. With the expansions of homes in this area, I continue to see us being very, you know, the tax rate being kept low. One thing that I am keeping an eye on in the legislature right now, it has already passed by the House unanimously, is the new outcome funding. And with the outcome funding, I predicted, I have to see figures, but I predict this is going to be very advantageous for COM. We just need to keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to have the outcomes that's going to produce additional funding. So if I were to prioritize the budget, should that pass, I would absolutely focus on what is going to produce those outcomes.
Talking with Miles Shilton, who's president of the college, Galveston College, he was saying 17 votes in the Senate, and it's law. At that point, they were feeling pretty confident from when I talked to Mace Middleton about that the other day. Let me stay with you on this one, Melissa, so we can talk about. But then it comes to the tax rate. Obviously, if the bond referendum passes, goes up on the INS side of things, but on the M&O side of things, you know, the day-to-day budget, I can say the tax rate for operations and the like. What is your philosophy on keeping that where you can tilt it down to the point that it really does match up where the revenue doesn't solely increase because of appraisals? Because it is a two-tier system in the state. You got the appraisals on one side. What you write on that check, though, can be controlled by the governing body. What is your philosophy on how the tax rate is handled?
I think if it's feasible and it doesn't disrupt operations, you definitely would I could see us voting to come below that below the no net revenue, bring it down. And it might be something that could happen fairly quickly because of how fast Galveston's growing. We all see the development that's happening in Texas City and Santa Fe and Dickinson. I think we are in for some awesome times.
Gotcha. Let me go ahead with the same question to you, Robin. On that is your philosophy on the tax rate. That's one of the, you know, outside the budget. That's the other area that the board has the control on. What's your philosophy on how the tax rate should be handled?
Well, I think we should handle it in a way that is fiscally responsible and doesn't cause a burden on every household, because not everybody's in a position to be able to pay the extra tax rate and everything. So I just I don't know, you just have to be mindful of the entire community when making decisions like that.
Keith, same question to you, sir.
I think it's very possible to keep the tax rate at a preferable rate. That is also contingent on the market. So there are also other factors that the board would have to consider in terms of, can you keep this tax rate affordable? I know one thing that I would do, and I'm certain when elected, colleagues on the board will say the same thing. We will look at every possible methodology to ensure that we can keep this tax rate affordable. If anyone up here, I think we would probably be being dishonest if we were saying we were the sole individuals who can set that tax. We can set it from the board, but there's also other mechanisms that actually control those tax rates. That's outside of that. That's at the county tax appraiser, that's at the state legislature and tax appraisal reform. And then again, we have to consider all our constituents and what is best for the College of Mainland.
Don, same question to you, sir.
Our job is to keep the tax rate at the lowest possible level to fund the budget. Again, it's a simple procedure.
I like your answers. It's simple. It never seems that way for everybody. For some reason.
Do you remember, I've been in business for 50 years, and I understand budgets and I know how to check them. But we have staff that tells us what they need, and we follow that pretty closely. But again, the tax rate, we keep that at the very lowest possible level to fund the program. It's that simple.
Maybe everybody should. Let me let Elias, and I'll let you follow up on that. Elias?
Currently, at the tax rate for College of the Mainland, our M&O is 50 cents per $100, and our INS are 11.6 per $100. We should really strive for maintaining that tax rate or even lowering. Like all of the colleagues that are here at this table, the demographic here in the college tax district is only ever growing. With that being said, looking at how the economy is going, we should evaluate and see where we, if possible, maybe lowering that tax rate or maintaining it for future purposes. And then we also have to make sure our quality of the programs are satisfactory as well.
All right, Keith, and you wanted to chime in, and I'll give everyone a chance another round here once he says this.
I think for the lay person who probably doesn't really understand budgets, and you don't necessarily have to be a business person for a significant amount of time. Again, my background is I literally have a master's in public administration. I've been in nonprofit and government for well over a decade. And so that's what I've done is public budgeting. Again, it's not that simple. There are other factors that determine that a board or any responsible governmental body has to consider in order to set an effective tax rate. You also have to consider what is the fiscal health of your organization before you make a decision on a tax rate. And so that's what I mean by, if we say it's simple, I think, and again, this is, and respectfully, I think, again, if we say it's simple, we are not being fully transparent with our voters.
Gotcha. Anybody else want to jump on that bandwagon here? Don, since he said simple, so that's actually a shock to you. So I'm going to give you a chance to respond to that.
Okay. Again, I deal in simplicity. Our job as a board of trustees is to hire and fire the president, to approve the budget. And that's pretty simple. Let me tell you one thing that discussion I had with Warren when I came on board.
You're talking about Warren Nichols, the president of the college. So.
I've run organizations before, large ones, and I told Warren that if I ever step on his toes to let me know, because I have a propensity to get my nose into the operational part. And Warren smiled and looked at me and said, "I'll let you know." And about 2 or maybe 3 times in the last 6 years, he's let me know.
Ooh, what were those? No. I'm really interested in that. No, but it does kind of go into a thing on budget philosophy as you look at things. But one of the things that comes into, let me ask this more directly. Melissa, I'm going to start with you at this. When you are setting a tax rate and taking a look at things, you're elected to the board of college in the mainland, but you can't be blind, I don't think, to the fact that there's also Texas City ISD, Hitchcock ISD, Hitchcock ISD, Santa Fe, and Dickinson. Did I miss anybody this time? I want to make sure that they're paying those they're paying those school district taxes and everything else. And there's just times that it's that check. Again, it's the check that they write that comes out. So does that come into your consideration when addressing the rate that you set for College of the Mainland that you vote on?
No, absolutely. I'm going to, like Don says, we trust our staff. They're bringing us the data. We're going to look through it. Our first and foremost responsibility is making sure that the college can operate. And if we can bring some ease to the taxpayers, I think that is our fiduciary responsibility.
Robin, same question to you.
I agree with Melissa. You have to look at all the data, and if you can lower the rate, if you can't, then you'll have to keep it at that rate. But you just have to be mindful of the entire community when you make that decision.
Don, same thing. I know you say it's simple. You keep saying that and everything else, but does that go into your mind at all? Hey, this is going to affect people. Because you are running for the at-large position, so that means you're voted on no matter what community. Does that go into your consideration more than just, hey, this is what the staff says we need to have for budget?
Certainly, we live in a county that's growing, and as growth occurs, expenses go up. So you're going to get higher costs with your water, your light bill, with your TISD or your school district costs, and College of Mainland and cities.
Keith, same question to you.
Yeah, it's just again, always a holistic, comprehensive approach. You have to consider every factor before you can actually set a rate. And College of the Mainland has done phenomenally well. And I think Dr. Nichols has done a great job. I think I'm certain, I'll be confident in the staff. Nonetheless, that data and that information comes up to the board, and the board has to make the best decision based on what data is provided.
Elias, same question to you.
I actually want to ask if you can repeat the question, just to make sure I
Yeah,
actually
so
answer.
in this, it does the point, because we've heard, the recommendation of the rate and they like to come in, but when let's be factual here, because we're not only talking about, for example, College of the Mainland's bond referendum on the ballot, but for some in the comm district, there is a water board bond, and there's also the Dickinson ISD bond that's coming in there. Now, the Dickinson ISD bond, the way it's going to work out, should not be an increase on that, because they're going to adjust in the refinance. But that's still something. But do you take into consideration the actual check someone is writing? You talk about the appraisals that you just got in here. Do you take that in your consideration, not just looking at it straight up as here's how much they're going to pay for College in the Mainland on their taxes, but how much they're going to pay all around for those who live in this area?
Yes, definitely. And not only if elected as a trustee, I would have to keep College of the Mainland in mind, but I have to consider each independent school district in the comp tax district, which is made up of 5. With that being said, I would say we have to collaborate with all the other board of trustees from the independent school districts to see what we could best strategize to pass these bonds. With us passing the bond, we could potentially hurt other school districts from improving infrastructure. And for me, as a student, as a community member, my concern is everybody. So I want to make sure everybody improves as College of the Mainland improves. So that's what I would stress.
Actually, we've heard visiting voters over the years say that. I mean, one time I think there were 5 bond issues going on at the same time. Kind of killed a couple of. They were proposing them, and a couple got pulled off at the last minute because they were worried about that overall. Last, I'm going to stay with you on this. We're going to go to a totally different subject. Earlier today, while not a mass shooting happened at a college in Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City, we've had shootings on campuses, big and small. Obviously, here in Galveston County, Santa Fe, in 2018, dealt with a mass shooting. Do you, from what you've seen, think the College of the Mainland has a suitable mass shooting incident command or plan in place? And I'll go from there.
I want to say its current plan is actually up to par compared to other community colleges. I'm not sure if y'all know, but usually, well, I'm a student. So every single time there's any kind of threat, alarm, or anything like that, we get a phone call, we get a text, and we get an email. Our phones are being blown up if something's going on campus. We are put in complete lockdown, and at the beginning of the semester, our professors sit front of us and talk to us individual. Hey, just know these are stuff that's going around the nation. It's something that you should be aware of. It's something that we should be prepared. As far as crime goes on College of the Mainland is pretty much low.
And I'm talking, I can get to that part here, but I mean,
okay.
about, an active shooter situation there with the program. Anything you want to say more on that?
No, that's it.
Okay. Don, same question to you.
I don't know how you secure any building or facility in our country this day and age. I believe we have a very active and qualified police force at the college. They cruise the campus on a regular basis. I haven't been ticketed yet, but one of these days I probably will. But bottom line is I feel pretty secure with the College of the Mainland.
In an active shooting situation is what we're asking.
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha. Keith, same question to you.
I believe, yes. I'm personally haven't been on college. I've been on College of the Mainland's campus, but not as a student. And by nature, not just for active shooters, but just for any emergency, City of Texas City or College of the Mainland probably is ahead of the curve for most entities or organizations. Again, by nature, we have to be. And activated NIMS or ICMS, I really have full confidence in the College of the Mainland.
Robin, same question to you, man.
I'm not familiar with their policy, but I work at UTMB and I know that we receive emails and texts about once a quarter or more to alert us if there's any active shooter or any type of emergency going on. So I would think that the College of the Mainland has the same type of programming in place.
Melissa, same question for you, man.
I think as far as the alert system, I'm quite pleased with that. It doesn't just alert what's going on campus, it also alerts what's going around campus. I think that Chief Sylvia Chapa's team and police department on campus are up to snuff. We just gave them a new police department, and she's constantly giving us reports on the ongoings of campus. I think that College of the Mainland also has a great partnership with Texas City. And so when there is emergencies or things that are occurring, I believe that there is quick response. Now I'm going to be a little negative, and I know Warren's in the back, but I think he will agree with me. If I did have one critique, it is our LRC building. This is a 50-plus-year-old building. Some of the doors do open the other way. And so when I do hear of stuff happening around campus or even around the country, that is one building that I know that is not, that I do have concerns about. And so that's why I'm also for the bond, because with the bond, it would be demoing that building and building a new library, a new facility, and it would be brand spanking new, and it would be up to code, not just for safety, but also for, ADA accommodations as well.
Gotcha. And what degree, since we had that current situation today, and we're coming up in May on the 5th anniversary of Santa Fe, and always that's on the top of the mind with a lot of folks here. Next up, the state legislature on mini college. I'm going to stay with you on this one, Melissa. is considering some proposals based on a governor's executive order of eliminating, reducing diversity departments on that. I'm not going to get that specific qualm there, but how do you think diversity needs to be handled on a college campus like College of the Mainland, and what programs do you think need to be in place that may be, at some point told by the government, this from Austin, now we don't need those anymore? How do you still make that as an approach if that's the approach you take?
I read this bill that, and it's predominantly focusing on the hiring practices on a college campus. And I would say it is really a non-issue for College of the Mainland, because College of the Mainland, and again, I have great confidence in our human resource department and our HR director, Mike McGee, that we are always looking to hire the most qualified candidate. And we, by law, cannot discriminate against protected class. Now, as far as student experience, we have a diverse community. It is open for all students. And we have many festivities that celebrate the many cultures in this county. I also would probably like to see a little bit more, because I do like seeing the families and students come to the campus, not for educational purposes. So College of the Mainland is open for all. And also we are looking at the changing demographics in Galveston. I think that we will continue to always have a diverse campus and have a great student experience in celebrating their cultures.
Robin, same question to you.
I took a tour of College of the Mainland, and I noticed that there is a lot of diversity there, which, is a wonderful, wonderful thing for that. Everybody feels welcome and good to be at College of the Mainland. So I think that with that in mind, and like Melissa said, it's just going to continue to grow. And so it'll always be a welcoming place for everyone.
But let me just kind of clarify with you on that, though, Robin, is that when you are on the board and you're adopting certain policies, what policies would you adopt or accept or reject that would either encourage more diversity in hiring practices, if the pressure is, hey, we don't need those anymore? And that's probably more of that. I'll give you a chance to answer that, Melissa, as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm just going to feed off what Melissa said about the HR and how that she is pleased with their hiring practices anyway, and they don't discriminate and they look for the best candidate. So I would continue with that practice.
I just want to make sure you want to clarify a little bit more there. I think that's what made me ask it a little more in detail, because of what you would answer, Melissa.
So when it comes to hiring, I don't believe in having quotas for hiring. I don't believe in having quotas for enrollment. I believe that we will always at College of the Mainland look to hire the most qualified candidates. And we will also follow the laws to prevent discrimination. Now, we live in a diverse community, and I think as we see more minorities coming into the education sector, I welcome them to College of the Mainland. We are a Hispanic serving institution, and I hope to see more professors and faculty and administrations represent their cultures on our campus.
Elias, let me ask you that same question here about within the hiring practices, College of the Mainland, as diversity programs are being questioned in many institutions of higher learning.
So I always want to make sure that first we're following the state law, and not even that, but hiring the candidate who's best suited for the job as far as experience. And how Melissa said, not having a quota on hiring a specific race or ethnicity or sexuality, and follow the laws that prevent. I'm sorry, I did it again.
That's
and
right.
follow the laws that prevent discrimination. As a student, College of the Mainland is a Hispanic serving institution. 37% of the student population is Hispanic or Latino. Last semester, I had the honor and privilege to go to the HACU, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. There we go, in San Diego. And with that, College to Mainland funded that. They gave me an opportunity to network, to meet these people, some of which are on my campaign staff now, which I am forever in gratitude and in debt for that. So with that being said, yes, hire the candidate who's most experienced in that specific job.
And just for our viewers, he said shoot there when he forgot. Don Gartman. I just wanted to clarify that. Don, same question to you.
At College of Mainland, we have a department head of diversity and inclusion. And I feel like we're doing a great job in hiring the most qualified person. Also, I'm real proud of the Minority Men for Excellence that we have there. It's a program where they take young men who are challenged educationally and tie an individual professor with those people to help bring them up to speed. And some of the best students we have come out of that program. Very proud of that.
Thank you, Don. Keith, same question to you, sir.
Yeah, just in pursuant to federal labor laws, civil rights EEOCs, Title IX programs. Also, the College of the Mainland has a current grant program specific to Latino students. Now, from the diversity piece, yes, you always want to hire the most highly qualified individual. The one thing that's always difficult for me to talk about is oftentimes whether it's a woman, whether it's an African-American man, or whether it's a Latino, they're passed up. And because they are passed up, are not looked at, even though they're highly qualified and may be the most qualified individual. That is not conjecture, that is not opinion, that is actually data. Statistics back that up. And so I won't say my colleagues, other individuals in the legislature, I hope we look historically at what diversity and inclusion programs have done and how they've bridged gaps, both educationally, economically, because again, they are still needed. And I'll say this I'll say it to him personally. I'm very proud of Mr. Ramirez. He is an individual that is doing exceptionally well. But also, when we think of the need of a college to have a grant program for ethnic individuals, that need is put in place because there was a gap that needed to be closed. So again, that'll always be my position on diversity and inclusion. I always I'll exercise brevity on my last point. I always tell people I am a kid from public housing in Galveston, Texas, who had the opportunity of a lifetime to get a quality education, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and one day I'll finish my PhD. One day I'll finish it. But I've been able to work the federal level, the state level. I've been able to work as an educator, and all those opportunities weren't always equitable. I had to fight for them. And again, I've become an elected official. Again, all those opportunities weren't always equitable. Had to fight for them. Again, diversity and inclusion is essential, and it's still needed.
Let me stay with you here on that, Keith, and we could go on to the next question here. Part of why I asked this question is that in getting feedback from folks in the community, and also hearing from folks at College of Mainland, there is still kind of this old mentality, even with the new buildings up and stuff, of that. And I'm just going to say, I'm not going to ignore the white elephant in the room in here, that we're talking about on its image of it's too liberal, it's too woke. That's the new one I've heard on in referring to the bond and everything else. And what do you say to folks that have this kind of old image of what College of Mainland, because it's made significant changes? And let me pull it out a very clear. I've covered the college for many years, and I'm not going to ignore the fact that my wife was one-time president there. And I just want to make sure that's equal. I'm not asking the question based on that. I'm asking it what we're hearing in the community now. And it's not overwhelming. Let me just be clear, but there's still this kind of, you go to certain communities in our town, that term comes up a lot. And I just want to know, how do you deal with that, in the public as an elected official on the board?
I've been very boisterous about political rancor, both on, and again, this is a nonpartisan seat, but both on the Democrat side and the Republican side. I think we have lost our collective minds politically. Instead of having critical thought and actually looking at what's objective, what's best for our community. We live in Galveston County. We live in Texas City. Our issues are economic. And again, we want to ensure we bridge gaps for individuals. Academia is all about critical thought. It's not about who's woke. It's not about who's too far to the right. It's about providing opportunities for everyone, regardless of social economic background, status, or regardless of your race or ethnicity. That is what academia should always be about. That is what our country should be about. That is what our community is about. It is about, again, providing opportunities for everyone.
Don, same question to you, sir.
How can you disagree with that? And I believe that's what we have at the College of Mainland.
And I need to clarify, you're agreeing with Keith, you're not agreeing with the premise of the question.
I'm agree with.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Exactly. I believe we've had a Black president, a woman president, and we've got Warren here now. So I think the president of our college has been very diversified.
But overall, that image thing, how do you address that if it comes up in the community? It's not just about who gets hired. It's
Well, that shows that there's diversity here.
Yeah.
The Minority Men for Excellence, I love that program. That's a perfect example of it. We do everything we can to help everyone get a quality education, and that's the job of the College of the Mainland.
Elias, same question to you, sir.
I just want to reiterate that College of the Mainland and us running as Board of Trustees is a nonpartisan institution. We cannot judge what happened in previous administration on what's going on now. And I want to commend President Nichols' job in changing the image of College of the Mainland throughout the years. It has been improving on its diversity and its inclusion, and has honestly been moving more towards the non-partisan independence route. So that's what I want to reiterate. It's a non-partisan institution.
At least on the elected side. We should point that out on those things. But it's still politics. Keith acknowledged it. No matter what, it's going to be there. Robin, same question to you, man.
Could you repeat that?
Sure, I'm going to get you to grab a mic while I'm at it. So it's something more recent that have come up. The last bond issue, I heard it. And again, it's not overwhelming sentiment, but there are still pockets here. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to name the professor's name. There was a professor there that had columns all the time. And folks were always kind of like, oh, that's the College of Mainland. I had someone the other day thinks he still works there. And he hasn't for 10 years, somewhere around there. And so it's that kind of the old coming back. Even you put as many new buildings up, but sometimes people don't know of the culture change that would be there. So if you hear that in the community, how do you deal with that? That's the big part.
So are you saying the culture change has changed for the?
I can't say better or worse. I'm just saying,
Okay.
you hear someone who's reflecting on the old image of the college. I think that's fair to say. That's factual. There was an old image that it was kind of disconnected from the community. Maybe that's a better way of asking it. That it was disconnected from the community as a whole. There's still pockets that feel that. How do you deal with that? You're elected to the board. How do you deal with that to talk to someone about that topic?
Well, I would say that the institution of higher learning, you're always going to have people that run the gambit, from end to end. And so that's what sparks conversation, that what sparks lively debate in your classrooms. And like Keith said, that is what sparks critical thinking. So it gets people thinking. So I don't know that it's a bad thing, but it is controversial. But I think if you direct people in the right way, you can have a lively debate about it and go home and still be friends. And I think that's the important part.
And Melissa, same question to you, because Robin's just saying, and Robin, I just want to make sure.
Thank
you. Okay, no problem.
So I haven't heard this criticism in a while, but I kind of know where it's stemming from, being part of that history. College of the Mainland, I have not heard in the past 6 years of professors indoctrinating. I have not heard any complaints. Our professors are pretty moderate and people are pretty pleased. Now, could I say that 10 years ago?
And I'm talking about current, as I said,
Yeah.
it's not the overwhelming sentiment,
No,
but it's still pockets out there.
That was one of the driving forces that made me run for College of the Mainland, because of the reputation that was out there 6 years ago. There was constant negative headlines in the newspaper. There was a constant attacks on College of the Mainland. And I would say in the past 6 years, we've had a complete 180 of restoring that reputation. And it started probably, was it 7 years ago, when previous administration corrected it. And we were able to.
So it said she fired him.
Yeah, she fired.
Okay, sorry. I'm not going to ignore it. It's a way over the room. She fired him.
And it was an uphill battle in bringing that reputation back to the community. And we did, because we were able to pass the 2018 bond by showing within that year that between 2017 what we could do in financing projects on campus, showing that the board is cohesive, showing that we had consensus and we were ready to move forward. And look what we have done with the 2018. We have taken that trust with the passing of the 2018 bond, and we have completely transformed the campus and its reputation. And I believe that we still have that strength in our administration and in the board. And I hope people, again, I'm going to plug it, 2023, it's going to be amazing if the bond does pass.
Gotcha. And I know this is more of a conceptual question, and I understand that, but it's out there. I'm not trying to get, did you want to say something, Don? I'm sorry. I just now saw your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm very familiar with the question that you came up with. That's the reason I ran for the board. It's one of the reasons. But I would like to say, if you look at the last 6 years, the changes in the facilities, the changes in the president, vice presidents, the staff, the problem has gone away. It's not here. This college is the best it's ever been. I think the community understands and realizes that now.
Anybody else want to? Yeah, and Melissa made a point on this, that that last bond referendum goes from narrowly getting defeated to a landslide. So it passed. So there's a big change there. Now let's go into, this is going to be a third rail question. I know this already as we come up. And I'm going to start with you on this one, Robin, as well on this. And it gets down to the question of expansion into League City. Outside the taxing district, this is kind of a two-part question, because you do have a branch there that's in League City. A lot of it being the dual credit students from Clear Creek ISD get to go there, which is paid for as a revenue stream. But there's long been kind of this view from some people that one, College of Mainland should stay within its taxing district. Then there's also the thought of not only should it be doing the expansion in League City through added programs, but to push for League City coming into the taxing district. So I wanted you to address both of those issues and where you stand on that.
From what I understand right now, the dual credit that the League City kids bring to the table is net $100,000 a year generator. So that's a good thing. And I think that I understand this correctly, that the city of League City would have to vote on becoming part of the College of the Mainland taxing district. And also, having said that, the College of the Mainland has done such a fantastic job with their fiduciary responsibility with the taxpayers' money, from the 2018 bond. They came in on time, under budget. I think that it would be not an easy sell, but something that people in League City would be interested in learning more about and talking about, because it really is a wonderful institution. And I think that all of Galveston County would benefit greatly from that.
Gotcha. Melissa, same question to you.
So in regards to the League City campus, by law, we cannot spend taxpayer money outside the taxing district. So this is a fully funded facility by the League City ISDs, Skipworth ISDs. We cannot build buildings outside of the taxing district because, like I said, we cannot use taxpayer money outside the district. Now, my opinion on bringing League City into the taxing district, yeah, that's a great idea. Doesn't, all that extra revenue, that would be great. All the things we can do, but is it feasible? Is League City going to vote to come into College of the Mainland taxing district? Historically, they are a tax averse, area. Also, is there really a gain? They're going to probably see this as a tax increase with very little change to tuition. So I would really have to look at the data to see is this really feasible before we put in large investment into it. Again, yes, it sounds incredible. I hope we can have a campaign to change minds and hearts. But if it doesn't sound feasible or look feasible, I think it's best suited to use some of that funds for outreach programs within our taxing district.
Gotcha. Let's go on down here. Don, same question to you, sir.
First of all, League City is in our designated expansion area. We have the right to do that with their permission. Citizens of League City, and I'll repeat what has already been said, would have to vote and approve for that to happen. Dual credit is available to League City school students, which means they can get a 2-year degree before they get their high school degree, 2-year college degree before they get their high school degree. So there is a big advantage to League City right now. I'd like to reemphasize that all services are being paid for by League City students. It's a revenue producer, period. And the board is very sensitive about that. The bond funds that we're talking about will be used for construction, renovation, and development of facilities.
Yeah, that's a separate issue. Yeah, I know you want to make that clear, but I don't want anyone confused by this at all. The bond issue only deals with the taxing district. This is about future down the line. Elias, same question to you, sir.
I'm not opposed to the League City expansion, but as everybody else here agrees with me, is leave it up to the voters. Leave it up to city council. Leave it up to the citizens of League City. They have to weigh the pros and cons to see if the students of CCISD, if it's worth the $200 difference in 3 credit hours. The League City Annex building, like I said, like everybody has said, pays for itself. It's only revenue. And my only concern would be for low-income students. I'm first generation and low income, and I pay with education through financial aid. So that's my only worry for students at CCISD who are disadvantaged by the dual credit collegiate program and the continuing education, just because they don't have access to those resources.
Gotcha. Keith?
Yeah, my answer is short. I support expansion. That's contingent on the city council and the city of League City, if they want to bring it to a referendum or if they just want to bring it to the dais and vote on it. Again, I support expansion.
Gotcha. All right. In this day and age, we look at, at elections of Keith. I'm going to stay with you on this one because you talked about the term you used earlier is that we've politically lost our collective minds or political minds on that. And in certain segments here, sometimes it gets too personal on that. Now, I don't think anyone here's tried to beat up anybody or call them names or anything like that. But if you had someone who was a supporter of yours, who was out there saying something about your opponent in any capacity that seemed threatening or otherwise, would you, or just being cruel about it, would you say something about that? And what would your stance be on that? About civility overall in politics?
So, and I'm candid. I'm a politician that will come back at somebody, but not in a threatening way. If I feel I will give somebody a warning. But there's stuff that's off limits, and somebody's family, my wife, my children, or somebody else's wife or spouse and their children, their family members, or even if it's, and I'm not saying this in jest, I'm saying this really seriously, even if it's a pet, you keep things to issues, and you do not attack anyone's personal life or families. And again, I sit up here as a former elected official, Trustee Gartman, Trustee Skipworth. People see the glamorous side of being in a position of having a title. People do not see the countless hours that go into these, effectively, a lot of it pretty much unpaid work, right? So we do a lot for our communities. A lot of it in the age of social media may be seen, right? It may be publicized, but a lot of it is the background work that comes with it. And again, we're still human. We still want to be able to effectively live and raise our kids the same way everybody else does in society.
That said, it's not about you saying it. Somebody out there who's one of your supporters does it. What do you do?
Oh, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
I do not allow it to happen. And again, I'm one of those people that I will come back at you from a political perspective. But that is, anybody who's ever worked for me knows, are volunteered. They know that is completely unacceptable for me.
Elias, same question to you.
As probably a current student, like I said, when I first joined this race, people made assumptions. Oh, he's just a kid. He doesn't know what he's doing. If somebody comes at him, he's going to act some type of way. So I have a certain degree that I want to level myself off upon. I want to be professional. I know these other candidates are human. They have livelihoods. They have bills to pay at the end of the day. Same with me. So, I mean, when either if it's my supporter bashing other people, I make sure to sit down one-on-one. Hey, you cannot do this. This is unacceptable. This is unprofessional. This is unethical. If somebody comes at me or one of my fellow opponents, I make sure to reiterate, hey, this is our race. We have to be the example, lead by example. And that's some of the things that I pride myself upon on. Lead by example, be the example, and just act professional, ethical. Pretty much up there.
Don, same question to you, sir.
I respect any person willing to devote their time and money to a job that pays nothing. I would appreciate if anyone said something bad about one of my opponents. I would say I would appreciate if you would treat them with the same respect that you treat me.
Ron, same question to you, man.
I agree with everybody else up here. I think it's not necessary. You should always be leading by example, and you should be able to tell that person to, keep their thoughts to themselves. Let it be professional on a professional manner, and you don't have to tear people down.
You agree with that? I just want to say, the question is, if somebody has done that's in your support group or something, what do you tell them?
That it's not necessary. We don't need to go there.
Gotcha.
We're all running because we want to take part on benefiting COM, and it does no one a service by tearing the other person down.
Gotcha. Melissa, same question to you.
So I did this for the money and the fame.
In all fairness, y'all all volunteered to run for this job. So.
Exactly. If anyone in my support group is attacking any of my opponent or any of my colleagues, we are going to have a conversation. If anyone is posting anything on my Facebook page, I'm going to delete it and we're going to have a conversation. There is no place for that type of behavior. We are here to work together and for the benefit of the community. And we are not here to tear each other down. We all have families. We all are people. And just because we're public officials doesn't give up our right to be treated with dignity.
I'm going to stay with you. We got 2 more questions before we get in our close. Is that all right with everyone here? We went a little bit over here. I'm going to have this one's going to be kind of a fun one here. And this only came into my head a little bit ago because San Jacinto College up the road is introducing a brand new mascot. It's still going to be a raven, but they're updating the outfit. Okay. And it made me think, because I was on campus the other day with President Nichols and I saw a Comet walking around. And I said, yeah, Comet's looking a little old. So not, as I said, but it brought up a question because I remember one time Oregon even threatened to sue College of the Mainland over the use of ducks as the theme, and I kept begging y'all take them on because I want to do this story because it just Oregon versus Com would have been one of the funniest, great stories ever. And I know this is out there and everything else, but it has a 2-part question to it. 1, is it time for Comet to get an update? 2, would you support expanding College of the Mainland to include, maybe non-scholarship version, of some type of athletic program there as Galveston College has the South? That's what I'm really leading to, but I wanted to start with the mascot first.
I actually got this question on the campaign trail
See?
About intramurals, but yeah, let's update Comet. Look,
She's looking at Clint. Where's the money for?
Yeah.
Is that in the bond proposal? Does that count?
Yeah, let's update them. I have many pictures with my son with Comet. I did get this question because San Jacinto does have sports, and someone was asking, what is my opinion of adding sports to College of the Mainland? And I said, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. We just had our first bond in 50 years passed in 2018. The rest of the campus is still 50 years old. We're trying to focus on bringing it up to date. We're trying to bring these programs. That is a major, that is a wish list down the road that I can get behind, but we have some priorities that we have to catch up first. And so that's where I'm at with sports. I would love to see it because it does, it does bring more recruitment to the campus. It does also bring activities for the community to get behind. And I would absolutely love that to be the future. But I also know right now our priority is we have a lot of catching up to do.
Gotcha. Robin, same question to you.
I think if Comet needs and wants to be updated, then Comet should be.
Let's leave it up to Comet. Talk about a politician's answer there, Keith. I mean, come on. No.
And then about the sports, I love sports, so I would always advocate for that, but I know it is very expensive. Very, very expensive. And like Melissa said, there's things that I have taken priority right now that they have to get under the belt, and maybe for the future that'll be a possibility.
Don, same question to you.
Well, you're finally going to get a straight answer from me. I'm a hunter, so I have a different feeling about ducks. But I do like the mascot that we have here.
Oh my God, I didn't expect that answer at all. How about adding athletics to it? That was the real reason I asked the mascot question, was to get around to the athletic question. It really was.
Okay, athletic program. I like to see the cost benefit ratio, and I do know that a lot of community colleges, including one in the south part of the county has had financial problems with that kind of program. So I would like to see the cost benefit ratio.
They've also had several national championships along the way they'd like to brag about for that loss of money. But Elias, same question to you.
So I'm on campus basically every day. I live and breathe calm. But I love our mascot. So now I want to get a little technical with it. Are you meaning comment as like the duty?
Now, by the way, either way, it could be the suit just updated to look different, or like the Ravens Santasino introduced this week, or change it all together.
The suit, it gotta go. I don't. No, it's just like. No, it gotta change. It's white. I'm not gonna get that deep into it.
Don, that's the straight answer right there.
And then as far as like, because there's very different variations of comment as far as logos go. I like the red one with the gold. That should stay. But like the green, nah. But yes, the red and gold. Nice. As far as athletics, so student life, I'm very involved with, and I'm taking PE right now. So I see students engaging, and recently we have our pickleball tournament on campus. We have flag football, and I believe, if anybody can correct me here, we've recently won a champion on volleyball. And then I'm part of the TRIO program, which is a program that helps first generation students, low income and disabilities. And we have this thing called the TRIO Bowl, where we're competing with other community college like Alvin Community.
Grab Keith's mic there. I think that one's gone out on us.
Sorry, Mike, real quick. Thank you. Alvin Community College, San Jack, TSU. So that infrastructure is in place. We would just have to expand it broader. But yes, I would love to have an athletics program, and our students would love to have an athletics program.
Let me just kind of clarify, would you be a non-scholarship version like Tyler College has? I think all of their athletes are non-scholarship. They're paying for the right to play. Would that be an approach there?
Without getting too technical about it, I think I would have to learn more information
Gotcha.
in regards to that, and then I could follow up with that question.
Keith, question to you, sir.
This is the funnest question of the night.
I knew it was going to be. That's why I've had it here the whole time. And it was when I talked to San Jacinto College about, I said, are y'all getting rid of the Raven? They said, no, we're just updating the Outlook. And as I said, it was on campus the other day, and I actually made fun of how Comet looked for that. I thought Comet was naked at first when walking around. So to tell you the truth, it was worse than Donald Duck, not having any pants on. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to really diverge into the weird here, but I just, it hit me as funny as like, as by the way, a former mascot in college 300 pounds ago. That's why I also have like kind of an endearing question about this. So that's why it came up, Keith.
I will say this, in order for District 1, for them not to murder me, I would like R for the other side of town not to murder me. Orange and blue colors. Let's just say that.
You've already picked the colors out. I got you. All right.
For me not to get murdered. And then absolutely athletics. Galveston County produces the best athletes in the country. And again, that's not opinion. That is also statistics. Galveston Ball has the most NFL players in the country. Marque has won numerous championships. Hitchcock just won the basketball state championship. Can you imagine that talent pool? And we're able to recruit out of the state of Texas. You're talking about generating revenue. I know we may not be there yet from a cost benefit analysis, but still, it will be. You're talking about community engagement, bringing community together. This will be a powerhouse athletic program, and definitely scholarships.
Yeah, and with scholarships.
Yes.
Gotcha. I will point out, so we don't leave Dickinson out, is that Dickinson basketball player who should have had a chance to win state, but because of COVID didn't get a chance, led them into the NCAA tournament and did a great as well there. So to cover that. All right. Now I'll get to a more serious question, but I wanted to have some fun with that. I'm going to start with you, Don, on this one. This is the last question, then we're going to go into y'all's final statements. What's one program that you would like to see introduced as an academic program into College of the Mainland that's not there right now, and it can't be something that's already in the plan? So none of the stuff about the space agency yet to be named later there, but some program that as you look at down the line saying, you know, the world's going to need more of these, and I want to see us get ready for that at College of the Mainland. I know this is kind of a conceptual question again, but I want to give you a chance, and we'll go with that, Don.
Well, that's a real difficult one because it's working. That's a real difficult one because I think that space would, you know, I'm putting all my stock in that. I can't think of any other program we don't have that is not either the space technology or engineering, and we're doing both of those, are working towards that within just a short time period.
Gotcha. Elias, same question to you, sir.
For me, one of my main priorities would be working with administration to bring back our apprenticeship programs. Right now, we have a very competitive job market for our P-Tech, our trade skill jobs. And with bringing back an apprenticeship program, it'll lead them directly into a job once graduating. Because we're having students graduate with these P-Tech degrees, with these trade skill degrees, yet they have no job. So let's put some money in our students' pockets.
All right. Thank you all. Let's give a hand to our candidates, if you would, tonight. We're coming out. We're coming up on 8 o'clock, so I did go longer than we started a little bit later, but also went longer. But thank you. We had a lot of it. This was the most interest we had of all that. We have a good crowd here as well, and we've had a lot of comments online from folks, and including a lot of fights over the color of the new mascot. I should point out, I've been watching the comments out there, so that would be something to go. Wait, I didn't get to the new programs with you two. That's all right. Thank you for reminding me. We're not done yet. So Melissa, thank you. Always correct me in here. I got too excited about the comment question. Sorry. Melissa, same question to you about programs not in the hopper yet, but you'd like to see.
You know, it makes me feel like I should have paid more attention at work when I was in a Future of Work conference. I know, because I can't think of the figures off the top of my head, but the United States is behind the ball when it comes to IT jobs. They're showing such a like hundreds of thousands of jobs that will need to be filled, and we just don't have those skilled workers. So we do have IT programs at College of the Mainland, but I could see this probably expanding into another bachelor's program.
And Robin, same question to you.
Okay, so she stole my thunder. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry about that.
Well, and then I know that, you know, we've lost a lot of unions, and so there's a lot of trades out there, you know, which they trained the trades before. And so I'm not entirely sure if there's an electronics program for people that want to be an electrician. But that would be a really good one because we're always going to have a need for that.
I think it does exist.
Is there an
There's a limited one, right? Yeah. The basic electric, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is on
Yeah.
campus. But the
But
advanced stuff and all, it can expand beyond that.
Right. And like Elias said, it's nice to have, then they could have an apprenticeship and work themselves into a job.
Gotcha. Thank you all. Now I can say thank you all for participating in this tonight. And I fully screwed this up here. So, and the way I have it is Don's going first. Then I have Robin second. You're second. Sorry, see, I knew I had it wrong here. I got it backwards. Robin's last.
I'm next to last.
Next to last. You're fourth. That's it. All right, so let me fix the order here because we did this before. Third is still Elias, I think, right? You're third. Okay. And all right, so Robin is 4. And Keith, were you 5 or you were 5? Keith is 5. Yeah. You're 2. That's right. I got it now. My handwriting was bad when I translated this over. All right. So we got, so first up, Don Gartman. You have up to 3 minutes, sir, for your elevator speech and the final statement to the voters.
Okay, thanks. I've lived in Galveston County over 50 years. My credentials include leadership, trust, community. I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman. I'm an experienced business leader with decades of executive management experience. I worked 36 years in the electric utility industry. 21 of those years, I was the Galveston County District Manager for the light company, HL&P, Centerpoint, all the different names they had. For 8 years, I was chairman and president of an electric utility company in a province in Argentina. It was owned by Centerpoint. I was the only representative there. I was both chairman and president. I had over 1,000 employees. I had 400 to 600 contract employees at any given time. I've served as board chairman for the Galveston County Central Appraisal District. Everybody can say boo. President of Galveston County Economic Development Alliance and Small Business Development Center. Member and chairman of the board of Galveston Board of Trustees. Board of Galveston Board of Trustees. Galveston Tech City Rotary Club member 43 years. Galveston Chamber of Commerce chairman and board member. University of Houston Clear Lake Advisory Board member and chairman. Numerous other civic and Houston, Galveston area. I have a passion for education. I'm currently a member of the College of Mainland Board of Trustees. In 6 years, we've added STEAM, applied science, applied health building, a 4-year Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, a dental hygiene program, new industrial careers building, state-of-the-art equipment for process technology program, electrical and mechanical engineering, additions to our fine arts building, new police facility, added the Mainland City Center facility for our cosmetology and lifelong learning program. We're planning to add space technology and culinary arts program soon. If you like what you see at COM today, we pass this bond issue, you will love what you see in the future. I would appreciate your vote for Don Gartman, Board of Trustees.
Thank you, John. Melissa?
So I chose to run for College of Mainland Board of Trustees because 6 years ago, I thought it was at risk. It was falling apart. The facilities were not up to par. There was a fractured board and there was loss of reputation in the college. I ran to restore that reputation and I ran to move the college forward. And despite our disagreements, the new board accomplished something that many government entities can't say. We worked together. We worked together through challenges. We had Harvey, we had COVID, we had the freeze, but we persevered. And by gosh, look at the transformation. People drive by and actually see that there is a college here now. We have programs. We have our first bachelor's of nursing. We have accomplished so much together. And if you need more reason to re-elect me, then let me say this. Being on the board is not about just showing up to board meetings. It's about being present and available. It's about supporting the students and celebrating the students. I recognize and I have seen the generational impact of education. I'm a product of that. My father was the first, attended the first trio and upward bound programs. I've seen that generational impact, and I am now an educated Hispanic woman on the Board of Education at College of Mainland. You also have to stay current with the legislation. When I saw that there was going to be change in our service area, I sounded the alarm, and we were able to draft a letter, meet with Mays Middleton, and be able to, save our service area, or not allow other colleges to come into our service area and poach our students and change some of our enrollment and funding. You have to be a champion for the college. And no matter what, no matter your background, I'm a trustee for everyone.
Thank you. Elias?
I would like to thank I-45 Now and Mr. Alex for holding this forum, as well as President of the Chamber of Commerce. To hold this forum, it's a complete honor and privilege to stand here before you today of all voters of the COM Taxing District. I'm a first-generation Mexican-American, born here in Galveston and raised in Texas City. I am the alumni of Texas City High School, where I was a leader in a lot of club organizations, Currently, I am a student at College of the Mainland, graduating in about 2 weeks with my associates in general studies. I'm actually just got accepted to University of Houston Clear Lake, where I'll be pursuing my bachelor's in public service leadership. I am greatly involved in student affairs, and I am on campus daily. I am the president of the Community Engagement Club, where I can hear the community's concerns and staff concerns as well. I want to be a voice for the students, for the staff, for the community, because I feel that the board does not reflect that at the moment. I want to be the change that helps students proceed in the next 6 years, I'm sorry. And back to the statistic, 37% of the student population at College of the Mainland is Hispanic and Latino, and the board does not represent that. I want to be that change. Thank you so much.
And Robin. Yep.
Thank you for having the forum and thank you for having me here. I'm a wife, a successful businesswoman, a dedicated mother, and an active member of my community and a volunteer. I'm originally from Bellevue, Nebraska, the oldest town in the state where my family has lived for 4 generations. My grandfather was a founder of Bellevue College in 1966, now Bellevue University, where I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration. From an early age, the importance of education and a sense of community was instilled in me and still lives within me today. I have lived in the Dickinson area since 1994, moving there after my husband, Tyra, and I were married. It is where we raised our son, Cade, who recently graduated from Texas A&M with a degree in animal science production. The excellent curriculum, Cade was able to graduate from A&M in 2 years because he had attended junior college. And the excellent curriculum and teachers prepared him mentally and educationally for higher learning. Additionally, because of the exceptional value for junior college and community college, we could pay for his entire education without the burden of student loans, which afforded him the ability to concentrate on his studies and save money entering adulthood debt-free. Many families like ours and more that are disadvantaged regardless of background, I want to ensure that any student in Galveston County has every opportunity afforded to them to better their life. Education provides students with more options, income, esteem, and achievement, making our community better for everyone. I have participated in and led many different project teams throughout my career while working at Enron, TXU, and UTNB. Honesty, objectivity, and a commitment to finishing a project economically with solutions that benefit the group are prerequisites for excellent and effective teamwork. Galveston County stands to benefit significantly from College of the Mainland's efforts to future-proof the institution and its student body. As a potential board member, I'm interested in collaborating with my fellow directors to carry on the good work begun in 2018. I'm excited to use my experience, knowledge, and collaboration skills to ensure that every tax dollar spent is optimized,
10 seconds.
projects are delivered on time, and that College of the Mainland and Galveston County are ready to accommodate future population development.
Thank you, Robin. And Keith, you'll close things out.
Again, thank you to the chamber. Thank you, TJ, I-45 News. I just want to ask you to be objective. Many of you came in here and you probably already know who you're going to vote for. And that's perfectly fine. That is your constitutional right. That is the premise of our country. If you have not voted yet, I'm asking for an objective look into every candidate sitting before you today. I may not be your favorite, but the one thing I can tell you is I will always be fair and I will always be truthful. And I will always work diligently on behalf of students, staff, and the constituents of the College of the Mainland. Thank you. I ask for your support from Keith Henry.
Thank you all. Another round of applause for everyone here tonight. As we said at the beginning of this, early voting is already underway. It is 8 to 5 through Friday, the May 1st and 2nd. It is 7 to 7. Then election day, 7 to 7 on May 6th. And you can, selfish plug here, watch our election coverage that night. I'll be giving a few of y'all I know a call remotely. So don't party too hard if you plan on winning that night there. Thank you all for coming. Again, Tim Colt, our CEO here at the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Your staff. Also to everyone who came out here tonight. Robert, give them a little quick turn around the camera so we can at least see the crowd. These are people who came out here tonight and are real quick. There you go. See? I know some people are hiding. They didn't want to be on camera tonight. A few people scooted out. But thank y'all all for being here tonight and for something that we didn't announce until late last week out there, but we wanted to make sure we got it. Thank y'all so much. Again, get out and vote, and we appreciate it. We've had a good night. I'm TJ Alts, I-45 now.